Hi, this is Darryl Webster here, and just recently discussing something on the Yammer network about @mentioning people within conversations. And so within Yammer we can do that, we can @mention within the conversation, and this is how we do it within Office 365 groups. I'm going to create a new conversation, and I'll just initially just get the first message in. And once that message is in, I'm going to @mention, or rather I'm going to mention Jack Sparrow, who's going to be part of this conversation. So the email etiquette way of doing things is that you add them to the to line. So let's just add Jack, and he'll be brought into it, adding Jack. And just based on that, let's just go over and see what Jack's experience is of this conversation. So new activity, yep, we've got a new conversation thread, and there's a new conversation, there's adding Jack. So yeah, Jack will just reply and say, yes, I'm here. And what I want to sort of point out now is a feature request I have for groups conversations. That the experience here is that if we see that new activity and Darryl wants to now remove Jack from the to line. So he still wants to include Jack in the conversation, and Jack is a member of the ops group, but he doesn't want to necessarily direct the conversation to Jack as email etiquette goes. If you have someone in the to line, you're directing it at Jack and the group. So Darryl's going to be polite, continuing the conversation, and will now removing Jack from the conversation. No longer directing it at Jack. And Jack is still part of the ops group, so Jack is still going to get a message. But he's no longer in the to line. So the effect that we get though is if I refresh this, we now have a brand new thread. And my request is this: that the removing and adding of people to the to line in groups conversations doesn't create a brand new thread. You'll see here the brand new thread is a copy of everything that existed before. And now a brand new conversation. It is in the group, it is still accessible by the group, but the conversation is no longer part of the same thread. And Jack's experience of that is that he also can still see that conversation. Removing Jack's no longer part of it, but he is part of the ops group, so he still sees the conversation. So we see some fracturing in the conversation there if we add and remove people from the to line. So I want to see the thread being constructed and kept together around the subject of the conversation rather than the recipients. So that's my request.